Yo he vivido momentos que no es como para que un ser humano lo aguante, pues. Yo veo 3 días enteros sin comer y...
Antes no comía 3 días.
Sí, antes había 3 días sin comer y sin embargo llegué.
Sí.
Entonces, pero yo no... Cuando yo me pasaba eso, yo ni pensaba en eso.
Sí.
O sea, que no pensaba. O sea, yo no decía, no he comido. No decía, no tengo dinero. No, yo sencillamente seguía para adelante. Sí, continuaba nada más.
Sí. His story is one that's just blows my mind about how much poverty he grew up in. And the myth behind his birth was that he was born so premature that his mother couldn't hold him. He was too small. The reason why he was premature, it was said, was because his mother birthed him out of panic. That his father was stabbed 14 times, and the mother, when she saw this, went into a panic and birthed Gregorio. We went to where he lived. He lived in a hut that was maybe around like 15 by 8 feet or something, mud floors.
Como un sueño.
Como sueño. No puedes creer que...
No puedo creer porque en las condiciones económicas. Cuando inició la construcción de esta clínica, yo todavía estaba en el colegio y yo recuerdo que la doctora me decía, aquí es donde va a trabajar usted, porque ella ya sabía que yo quería estudiar medicina, aunque todavía no estaba en el colegio todavía. Y ha habido grandes cambios, un cambio extraordinario de ver de unos arranques que se miraba muy lejos, porque aquí la atención médica no era factible antes de que estar esta clínica, porque en las unidades de salud solo hay enfermera, no hay médico, o sea, la atención no es de la calidad que ahora la que reciben los pacientes de las comunidades.
It was originally when Dr. Parkerson and a few others who went down to Santa Ana realized that this was a region that was completely isolated from healthcare, and the closest healthcare was several hours away by bus, and so by walking could be a day or two journey to even get the most basic of kind of healthcare needs.
Las personas antes viajaban hasta El Salvador para ir a pasar una consulta. Ahora las personas vienen acá y no están, ya tienen menos costo de estar viajando, pagando transporte y vienen acá.
Shoulder to shoulder are volunteers here. They give their time, their money, their abilities to help Santa Ana. They don't say, we have this project, we want to do this in Santa Ana. They say, what do you want to do?
There's accountability because there's investing in that community, and so we have to face the community if plans don't go exactly as we see them.
Es necesario, entre juntos con la guía, la doctora Carol, definir el rumbo hacia donde queremos caminar como clínica, definiendo misión, visión y las funciones de cada uno dentro de la estructura.
We've hired local doctors who provide that continuity, who are there year-round to be keeping up with that community, so that when we come, it's really for our own education as much as anything else.
Really, the success of Houston Shoulder to Shoulder has come through collaboration, and that's why it's really a Houston endeavor. We have a very open arms kind of policy to those who want to come. Anybody who's looking to make an impact, or even just to open their eyes up to what it's like in this community, what it's like living in an impoverished area, they're always welcome to come on our trips.
You always hear about medical mission trips, and as a kid, if you're interested in medicine, that's something that's like, wow, like I hope I get to do that one day. And to be here, doing that work while helping a community grow is something that I can't believe that I'm having the opportunity to do.
A lot of these kids, like, they don't get a chance to, like, see people outside of their small community. So when they see other students, they ask me, like, a ton of questions, like, what's it like in the United States? It's really cool to be able to share, like, some part of our own experience. Like, I know a lot the way this trip is viewed a lot of times is, oh, we go there and we learn everything, but the community here learns from us just as much as we learn from them. And I think that trading that knowledge is, like, a really beautiful experience to share.
So each brigade has a different kind of flavor to it because they're coming from different institutions, and almost all of them have an educational wing to that, which means they go to the local schools throughout the region of Colomoncagua.
I think it's really important, especially here in the setting, that children are reminded about the importance of washing your hands and brushing your teeth on a daily basis, because that can really combat a lot of common ailments.
Nosotros para este año 2015 elaboramos un plan de trabajo educativo que está incluida charlas sobre agua y saneamiento. Tenemos también, elaboramos un mural mensualmente que lo ponemos a los pacientes ahí para que ellos puedan observar y instruirse en diferentes temas.
Dr. Gregorio didn't make it into a classroom until he was around 9 years old. His parents, because of reasons of poverty, wanted him to harvest maize in the area. So at 9 he goes into a school for the first time. He doesn't graduate high school until he's 21. So my question is, how does this person become a doctor?
Yo siempre he sido el del concepto de que no he sido pobre. He sido de escaso recurso económico, porque para mí la pobreza se lleva acá.
Sí.
Esa es pobreza.
Sí.
Lo demás es no tener recursos.
Sí.
Porque no ha sido fácil.
No
ha sido fácil, pero no fue imposible tampoco.
No fue imposible tampoco.
No fue.
He became a doctor because through a lot of different circumstances, he ended up being one of the doctors trained in Cuba. There was a reaction to all the hurricanes that were hitting the Caribbean, and so the Cuban government actually recruited doctors from these areas to train them in Cuba so that they could be helping out in their home countries. Y se educan en Cuba y después regresan a su país, y la mayoría se quedan en su país.
Todos regresan a su país.
Pero no hay unos que llegan a su país y después se van como a algún otro lado.
Sí, hay algunos que se van a otros países.
Como a los Estados Unidos.
Algunos se han ido para Estados Unidos, otros se han ido para Europa. Se han ido mucho
para ganar dinero. Pero en Cuba esa no es la meta de ese programa.
No, el sueño de Cuba es formar médicos para que vayan a servir a su gente. Ese fue el gran propósito.
Sí.
Desde que entré al colegio o al high school, yo ya iba con la idea de ser médico. Y me gusta la medicina, amo mi profesión y me gusta atender a los pacientes, por eso decidí estudiar medicina. Entre las patologías que más se ven acá son las enfermedades respiratorias, enfermedades diarreicas y enfermedades parasitarias.
One of the big questions that I had when I went down the first time was, what's the prevalence of these parasites? This is a very isolated region, no one had looked.
The word neglect in the neglected tropical diseases really comes from the fact that there's very little awareness of what they are and where they are. For the majority of the neglected tropical diseases, they actually don't kill the host or don't kill the human, patient, but it causes a very long, chronic, for practically the entire lifespan, a disease. Where you are today is where we have the laboratories of the Saving Vaccine Institute. We have functional units that actually look for, are they efficacious, right? Because not only you have to make the vaccine, but then you have to show that it actually would work. So we are now not only have produced vaccines here, we have confirmed that they can actually be manufactured, and we are now already testing them in the clinic.
The more important thing that I'm worried about is how do these parasites affect health? So in children in places like Honduras, how does it affect growth, or how does it affect cognitive delay? And then we can start targeting with a vaccine, like what they do here, or with anti-parasitics. And we can prevent growth delays or prevent diarrhea in children, which is a big problem in resource-limited countries.
We're talking 1 billion people in the world that they're just living in this horrible health disease state all their life, since the moment practically they're even born until they die. And why not give them the opportunity of raising that health status by just developing these types of interventions that in the long run will really have an enormous healthcare cost reduction.
So she 3 years ago, they took her to San Salvador. She went to the hospital where they actually wanted to do a brain biopsy to see what was going on, but they decided that the family decided the risks were too great for that. And so they brought her back, and at the time that they brought her back, she still walked and she still talked, but she was very different. Era diferente que antes porque ella antes como era normal.
Ella está allí en mi foto antes de
Esta es ella.
No, no, aquí.
Esta es ella.
Sí, cuando tiene 15 años.
¿Y ahora cuántos años tiene?
Sí, tiene 26.
Tiene 26.
Sí.
Trips like this, they put you in an environment where you can actually, go to the roots of what medicine is. I think it's an art that's somewhat lost in the midst of technology.
The way we address healthcare here in the United States is significantly different than how we're trying to address it in this kind of rural region because of their unique problems.
I was working in the daycare, and this little boy came up to me, and we were drawing with the crayons and the paper and everything. And off to the side of his paper, he wrote in Spanish, "The way things are isn't the way it has to be." It really struck me, like that sentence, like I kept writing it in my journal over and over. My friends and I started thinking, how many kids are out there in the world that are super brilliant? We just don't know because they're in small communities like this, and we never see them. And you kind of wonder, like, what would a world be like if we could get all those kids, all those brilliant minds together to like reshape and refasten the world into something better?
Sí, me he dedicado a ir a colegios y contar mi historia, y yo le digo a la gente que se la cuento no para dar lástima, porque eso depende desde el punto que uno lo vea, sino para que vean que se puede.
Sí, que se puede.
Que se puede. Que si se quiere, se puede.
Sí.
you.